Ladies and gentlemen, put a chick in it and make her gay. This is exactly what's going on with Disney Marvel, and it's been going on for quite a long time. And now we're going to have yet another example of the MCU showing its prominent face. And there is so many hilarious things going on with Ekko right now that we just had to talk about it. So we have an article here from Bounding Into Comics, and this one is going to dive into a couple of things. So the main thing is that the EP, the executive producer, Sydney Freeland, apparently is talking about how representation was extremely important to the series and reveals that the characters' backgrounds and her powers have been completely changed. Those are two major factors that we are going to absolutely roast in this video, guys. So let's get into the video. But before we do, of course, if you're new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into the YouTube algorithm. It says Ekko director and executive producer Sydney Freeland made it abundantly clear how Marvel Studios plans to market the upcoming Disney Plus series by declaring that representation was extremely important to myself and everyone else on the crew. Now, I want to be very clear about Ekko really fast, okay? So Ekko, they have absolutely zero faith in Ekko for a couple of reasons. Number one, Ekko is going the binge model. This is something unheard of for a Disney Plus show, especially a Marvel TV show. It is going the binge model, and on top of that, it is going to be released on Hulu the same exact day that the show comes out on Disney Plus. It's going to be literally released on Hulu right off the bat. Now, this is also a first because Andor, a TV show that was struggling to find viewership, or what they would call finding their audience, that show had to be sold off to other streaming services at the end of its life because it was not finding the viewership on Disney Plus. Now, with this particular TV show, they're opting to just release it on both platforms right off the bat because they're trying to maximize viewership during the binge model. They're going to release every single episode right off the bat so that they can say they had immense viewership in the first 2 weeks that the show was out, and that's what they're going to sell to investors. That's exactly what they're going to do, and this show is going to be hilarious because if anybody can pay attention, they should be able to easily decipher just how bad this TV show is going to do. But of course, they're going to try to find any way they can to bolster the numbers. Now, it says Freeland made those comments as part of a press event for the series when they rolled out the first trailer. Not only did she claim that representation was paramount to the show, but according to Variety's Laura Clark, the character was reimagined. Yes, reimagined. That amazing word that they love to use anytime they put a chick in it and make her gay, or if it's an original girl character, they decide to make it a completely different character because they're not giving you Ekko. They're changing the powers, they're changing her background, they're literally not giving you Ekko, they're only giving you Ekko in name. This is something they do over and over and over again because apparently, according to them, they think the original Ekko's powers are lame. Yes, they think the comic book version of Ekko, the one that people are actually going to be interested in seeing, for the 10 people that want to see Ekko, you're not even going to get Ekko. So I'm sorry for those 10 people that want to see the show, but you're getting a totally different character. It says Clark Rowe Freeland said she and the creative team, including head writer Marion Dayer, have reimagined the character's indigenous background, making her a member of the Choctaw tribe from Oklahoma. Clark added, in the comics, Maya is from the Blackfeet tribe, but Freeland said that the accompanying visuals amounted to a hodgepodge of imagery that made for a muddied and ultimately inauthentic backstory for the character. It's amazing how they're saying it's an inauthentic backstory when it's literally the backstory, right? So it is the backstory that they're choosing to ignore. They're choosing to ignore the source material, and they're trying to say by following the source material, that's somehow inauthentic. I don't really know the logic there, but okay, we're going to continue. Not only is the character's background getting changed, but so is her power set. Freeland explained her power in the comic books is that she can copy anything, any movement, any whatever. It's kind of lame. I don't think that's lame at all. Like, why would you? That's basically saying Rogue is lame. Why would you think that's lame? I don't even know. I will say that is not her power. I'll just kind of leave it at that. She added, I guarantee you she's going to have some sort of like vibration, sonic wave type power where she can feel the movements of the world, sort of a thing, because obviously she can't hear a damn thing. I do think it's going to be pretty damn hilarious. They're going to murder this character. I'm telling you, this character is not going to be anything other than a figment of its original self. It's just not going to be anything good, and you can tell right off the bat how they're talking. If they're talking about representation, if they're talking talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion, if they're talking about anything other than the character itself, you already know it's going to be bad. Then when they actually do talk about the character, they decide to tell you that the character has been completely changed. Literally, powers, backstory, everything has been completely changed. So now, not only are you going to be fed a diversity story just for the sake of diversity, but now you're getting fed a diversity story with a character that's pretending to be Ekko. It's just insane. While Freeland made it clear the show seemingly has nothing to do with the original comics, she did try and sell the show as Gritty, explaining that the series will follow Ekko after a seismic event takes place within her family. Good choice of words there. And one thing I will notate is that Ekko apparently is TVMA. I do find that to be very interesting. However, you got to remember, TVMA doesn't carry the same weight today that it did, a few years ago, even a decade ago. It's just not the same. So I don't really think it's going to be as gritty. They might throw a curse word here and there. They might even show a little bit of blood, but it's really not going to be anything crazy. Maya is in a very vulnerable, emotional place after this, the director asserted. She's got all of this bottled up emotion and rage and feeling inside of her, and she doesn't know what to do with it. And there's going to be somebody there to give her a little nudge. In fact, she describes the show as an exploration of trauma, how we deal with it, how we cope with it, how it affects us, how we affect it, and how it affects those around us. To that point, she also noted it's not the fate of the universe at stake. This is the fate of family. Oh, Vin Diesel moment, nice. It's going to be a typical girl show, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be hyper emotional. It's going to talk about trauma, my truth, all this other nonsense. I guarantee you, it's just going to be one of those shows. I just don't see who this show is trying to appeal to. Again, Marvel seems to. I'm very well aware that Marvel actually does know their audience. They're just choosing to ignore their audience. That's the main difference between Marvel and other companies, is that Marvel knows who their audience is, and they are choosing to say, nope, we're going to go the other way. It's kind of similar to Disney Star Wars. Disney as a whole does that, right? Disney knows who their audience is for certain things, and they absolutely go the opposite way every single time. Unless, of course, it's a TV show that was designed for women, then they're going to stick with that. But if it's a TV show or a series designed for men, oh, no. We need to change that. We need to modernize it. Freeland also declared, we wanted very, very adamantly to show that these people on our show, they bleed, they die, they get killed, and there are real consequences. To be honest, this is Disney Marvel, right? There is no consequences. The only people who felt any consequences was Iron Man and Black Widow, and even then they're talking about bringing them back. So I really don't think there's any consequences at all that Ekko can provide us that's going to make us truly believe that this is going to be a real thing. I just don't believe it. It says the official synopsis for the series states that Marvel Studios presents Ekko, spotlighting Maya Lopez Alakwa Cox as she is pursued by Wilkin Fisk's criminal empire. When the journey brings her home, she must confront her own family and legacy. And then it mentions at the bottom that it arrives on Disney Plus and Hulu on January 10th. And the funny thing is, they already announced when they're going to be removing it from Hulu. So it's funny that they brought it on Hulu just to try to bolster the viewership, but they're also giving you up front the cancellation date for the TV show before it even comes out. It's just, man, I really think that Disney is just, this is comedy at this point. Like, you have to be doing this purposefully, because you're not doing it for money, right? You're not doing it for anything other than virtue signaling points. We know that. We know you're using your content to push your agendas. You've openly said it. You've tried to say it subtly at first, and then when you've been confronted, there's been multiple people who have admitted that the agenda is the main primary thing that's important for Disney content. But I still am thinking that this is honestly pretty damn hilarious, and Ekko is going to be a mega flop, the likes that we haven't seen in a very long time. And every time I see a new Marvel show flop, I always say that, but for somehow, some way, the next one just finds a way to flop even harder. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.